Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Kashif Boothe podcast. If you're new here, each week I sit down with a guest and we discuss their career so far, the highs, the lows, and what's next for them. Today's guest is Jason Boothe. I know what you guys are thinking. Are we related? We don't actually know, but he's a dope filmmaker originally from Nottingham, but now he is based in Toronto. Welcome to the show, Jason.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me on here, man.
No, it's good to have you. It's good to have you. He is a editor, entrepreneur, videographer. He's got and YouTuber to a certain degree as well, because he has his platform Real Go Getters, which has over 30 million views online and over 75,000 subscribers. He's known for his concept videos where he edits films over music in terms of music videos and films as well. I remember the one you did with Michael B. Jordan, and I think it was with Fruitvale Station, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
and it was over a J. Cole song, right?
Yeah. Back in the days, yeah.
Back in the day. And that blew up, that went viral and has tens of millions of views on YouTube and stuff like that. So he's a multifaceted filmmaker. So welcome again. So how do you get started? From Nottingham, now in Toronto, what's your story?
Yeah, so kind of goes way back really. I was originally back in the days when I was in school, I was originally doing music. I was I don't know if you remember when there used to be loads of MCs running around back in the day. Obviously that scene was in London as well. But yeah, this was just in Nottingham growing up. And then obviously I didn't want to carry on doing that after school, but I still wanted to stay in something creative. So when I was coming to the end of year 11, I was doing media in school, and basically I just had a lot of projects to do with editing and stuff like that, and that's when I kind of really found the passion for editing, and I was like, yo, this is something I could do, which is I'd love to do something like this full time eventually as a career, so basically, yeah, man, I just kind of ran with it from there. I really kind of felt the passion for it and kind of the will to do it, and yeah, I went from there, did it in college, I kind of did film production in college. And then kind of took it into uni as well. Went to uni in the Midlands, so not too far from where I live, Nottingham. And yeah, just got involved in a lot of different projects, and I kind of just ran with it from there. But it all started really initially from school. That's where the seed was planted from me to kind of go into editing. So that's kind of how I got into it really, originally in school times, you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
That's really good. That's really good, because I mean, that's a good way to figure out your path into the industry. I mean, for me, I always knew from a young age, I knew I wanted to get into this industry somehow. So it started off in music as well, performing arts. I did all of that. I was acting and singing and dancing, fell out of love with that, moved into sports, then went back into TV and film. But I wanted to do behind the scenes, I wanted to produce and come up with ideas and stuff like that. And but school wasn't really giving me that. But it wasn't until I went to college and I was doing little videos online and putting it on YouTube and getting tens of thousands of views online and creating my own little concepts of music myself as well, and then I was able to go through that as well. So yes, that's really cool. So what's your journey into editing? Because your editing style is more so factual, it's more like real life events and stuff like that. So what's your kind of inspiration?
So whilst I was in kind of university, I was kind of working on a few different things. Obviously, you do the short films, did a couple documentaries and that. And obviously I was thinking, should I go, when you're just thinking, what do I do after this? Do I go into videography? Do I go into producing, or do I go into editing? You know what I mean? You're thinking of, what do I focus on? So during the end of university, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do editing basically. That's something I was really into. So when I finished university, I got a job basically for a corporate company, so a multimedia company. So I got basically an editing job with them. So I was did that for 2 years. So I was editing corporate videos for small and big companies. So biggest company I probably did a video for was Waitrose and stuff like that. So I was a full-time job. It was nice or whatever. The pay was decent, but really and truly, I didn't feel as though after like 2 years, I was like, yo, like I've not really got creative control here, you know? At the time, I was reading a book called Mastery from Robert Greene. I don't know if you know Robert Greene, the author,
Yeah,
but yeah, a really good book called Mastery. I definitely recommend it to anyone watching, whatever. But yeah, in that book, he like preaches a lot about like kind of finding your kind of life's task and what you want to do, basically what fulfills you, what drives you, and kind of he basically says like you should find, you know, independence is the key. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, being in control of what you do and stuff like that. So yeah, I did that job for 2 years, but it didn't really fulfill me in terms of like, yo, where am I going to go from this, you know? So from then I was like, I want to build my own platform, do like, because I knew I had a skill for editing, you know what I'm saying? Like I knew it was like something that really like ticked my mind, you know? So yeah, I built my this, it was like 2015 now. So 2015, 16, I think it was, I set up my YouTube channel, Real Go Getters, and I was just like just being creative, you know, coming back from work, from like full-time work of editing corporate videos, which could be, it was exciting, but sometimes it got a bit like stagnant and a bit like, you know, repetitive. So I was like, yo, I need something to really drive me, you know? So that's when I was started doing the Real Go Getters on YouTube. So I started doing kind of yeah, videos like you say, like kind of creative music visuals and stuff like that. And then I just realized I was building like a nice like audience from that as well, like basically creating storylines from taking storylines from films and add it into music, and bridging basically music and film together, but like cohesively, so they both made sense and created like a bigger meaning, you know. And that was for music that didn't already have videos. I felt like there was a lot of music out there, especially with my favorite artist J. Cole. He had a lot of like banging tracks around that time, which didn't have like videos. And I was like, yo, like this kind of needs a video for the song to really have a broader meaning. So yeah, I started doing that and started like building up a nice little following on YouTube. It just went crazy all of a sudden. Like obviously, like I went from, you know, you see the 0 subscribers, and then after like a few months or whatever, I saw like 2K, 5K, 10K. You know what I'm saying? It started going from there, and it started, a lot of my videos started hitting like 500,000 views, million views. But then it got to the point basically where people would start reaching out to me for like for me to edit videos for them. So they'd say either send me their footage or get me to do like a concept video for them, like to, you know, like to bridge some sort of like movie or film to their music. You know what I'm saying? So I actually started building kind of getting clients basically from these videos online. So I was like, yo, I could probably take this even further and start doing like editing original pieces of content and stuff like that. So yeah, so it kind of went from there. Obviously, I wasn't able to go into doing that full time because I was still at my job. Um, so what I did was I moved to Toronto in 2017, like full time. Went out to Toronto 2017, and obviously, you know, the industry, it's not easy wherever you go. You know what I'm saying? So it takes time. So I had to pick up a job which was not even related to media, really. Do you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I used that. I used it basically. I had a couple jobs, to be honest. I had a job in hospitality. I had a job at an events company. But I used those jobs to like find contacts in the industry out there. So I built up now because live in Toronto now. But so I built like a healthy network of myself for myself. Sorry. So I'm in kind of with all the kind of film guys, video guys out here, and yeah, basically, so I was obviously working normal jobs whilst I'm building all these connections and obviously building Real Go Getters as well. Um, and yeah, I've always done it on the side, so it's been a side thing. But like up until the pandemic hit, so obviously fast forward 2020, obviously everyone always who knows what's going on there. But so the pandemic hit. I was obviously working a corporate. I was working a corporate job just before the pandemic hit, and I actually left the job to go full time just before the pandemic hit. So like late February, you know what I'm saying? I left my corporate job and I was like, right, I'm gonna see if I can do this like freelance thing full time, because it got to a point where I could probably, you know, when you could cross that bridge and the pandemic came, and then I was like, oh damn, like what's gonna happen now? Because obviously it's like damn. But then luckily, obviously, as you know, like the need for online content just went like through the roof. You know what I'm saying? So it was like my obviously Real Go Getters and the freelance thing took off. Do you know what I'm saying? So I could I basically started doing that full time, and that's what I've been doing since then, really. And it's been good. It's been good, man. So now, obviously, I'm still getting a lot. I still get a lot of clients from Real Go Getters. I still do a lot of editing work over here in Toronto on the ground, and obviously, some videography I do as well. I don't know if I mentioned that. I do a bit of videography here and there, but mainly editing. And yeah, and basically, so now I'm basically, yeah, so I'm a freelancer now. So I've been able to take it to that level where I can do it full time and kind of obviously make a living off it. And yeah, it's going good, man. So at the minute, I'm kind of working with a boxing company actually in the UK. So that's one of my main clients at the minute. So they're called Black Flash Promotions. So yeah, I'm working with them. I've obviously got my other clients that come from Real Go Getters as well. And yeah, man, so that's kind of my journey up until now. So I was able to cross that bridge, thankfully, you know, to become like a full-time, you know what I'm saying, video editor in my own right, you know what I mean? Not necessarily for like another company, you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
That's really good. It's really good to hear your journey from when you first connected to where you are now. Because funny story, Jason and I connected 5 years ago, just through socials, you know, seeing that we both do the same type of thing, and we kind of was like, wait a minute, are we related? Because we have the same surname, and our surnames are spelled. It's like, wait, we must be family. So to connect and properly connect now, to hear your journey, see your growth, because I've seen it. I've seen where you started off.
For sure.
Go Getters, and then I just sort of blow up, and I was like, that's, I've always seen the talent you've had because I've watched your videos, and because with editors, it's also an art of directing as well. And editors to me are very underrated because it is storytelling. So you took a J. Cole song and then you took a film which you could see where actually this kind of has parallel meanings. Let me piece together a storyline and put it out there. And that's your talent as an editor. Do you get what I mean? And actually you being a storyteller and directing and writing, producing, and doing all of those skills which I use in my projects, but you're doing that with the images in front of you. So that's really good to hear. And it's great to hear that you've benefited from the pandemic as well. I mean, as you say, online content soared. So I mean, you guys were perfect. You guys were needed. I mean, there was
especially because people couldn't really, you know, like during the full-on lockdown, people couldn't really go out and shoot, right? So it was like, that's where kind of people like me came in that could, like, you know, just be online editing all day, night, whatever.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, and like you say, I think I first saw you, like we say, it's like back in 2016, right?
Yeah.
I think I remembered the website now. It was like Spiff TV or something like that.
Yeah, Spiff.
Something like that. But I think it was like a short film or something. And I just remember, like, obviously your surname like rang a bell as well. Obviously it's my surname. And I think the subject matter as well, I think it was like quite like it's like socially aware type thing. And I was like interested. So I was like, yo, I think at the time as well, I'm obviously trying to make moves, trying to connect with people. So I'm like, yo, hit him up, why not? You know? And then obviously we kept that connection from then. So yeah, man, it's good, bro. And I've been seeing your growth as well, man. Congrats. I've seen the Nate and Jamie podcast. Not the podcast, the show, which I was watching too as well whilst it was airing and that. So yeah, man, big up, man, big up.
Well, thank you. I mean, like I said, I mean, that's what it's about. Like, it's really about grind and hustle, and that's what kind of separates people from success and no success. You know, may not even, the most talented people need to have that same work ethic, and if you don't have that work ethic and determination, some people just feel like, oh, you know what, it's not popping off, I'm not really doing what I need to do, I'm fine with this like corporate job like you were in, for 2 years, but it's not fulfilling. As you as a creative, you want to do more than just doing client-based videos which are just corporate pays well, but it's like, what am I doing this for? Like, as creators, we eat and breathe in this whole industry, so we want to keep creating and telling stories and stuff like that. So that's really good to hear, especially from you going from Nottingham to Toronto and then building up the contacts there and still being able to benefit from both. And that's it's funny you say that about how you just started to, like, you did establish real go-getters by itself, because everyone I've interviewed like through my past season and this season, it's like when people do it themselves, that's where you really are setting yourself apart from everybody else. You know, in this industry,
Yeah.
you're told like, okay, you need to just get entry-level job and work your way up, but there's so many different paths to success in this industry. So that's why I started doing it myself as well, because it's like, well, I don't need to just work my way up in the industry, because that's long. Like when I worked at ITV, we're seeing guys who are in their 40s and 50s in the position I wanted to be in. And it's like, I don't want to be 50 and then producing a hit show. Like, I'd rather be doing that now.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and with the way the internet's gone over the last, especially 5 years and stuff, it's like you can do it now. Do you know what I mean? You can set up your own platforms, and obviously it might take a bit longer, and you need to have a bit more faith and like patience and stuff. But yeah, you can definitely do it. Just you have to grind, you know, and you have to go through the ups and downs. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it's definitely worth it. It feels good to be able to just have that kind of freedom, especially creative freedom, to be able to, you know, do your own thing. You know what I mean? So yeah.
But outside of like client-based stuff, like what would you say is your aesthetic and style? Like what kind of content do you want to be making? Because I know you do some videography, but you're mainly an editor. So like, what do you specifically want to do? Because I know factual is more so your thing. So like, what would you like want to do? Like, what kind of projects would you want to do next?
So I want to go into so original kind of documentary editing now. So I don't know if you've seen on the channel recently, I've done like a rollout of like kind of documentary type stuff. So kind of documenting the lives of kind of mainly hip hop stuff, because obviously Real Go Getters, a lot of it's like hip hop based. So it's like hip hop stories. Basically, I've been doing like the rise of certain artists and kind of entrepreneurial type journeys. So yeah, I'm basically trying to get into like factual, you know, my kind of content is about like your type of stuff, socially kind of socially aware stuff, you know. So yeah, basically trying to get into like original documentary filmmaking, like, you know, kind of Netflix type stuff, you know what I'm saying? So but I want to do it kind of in my own way and in my own style. So yeah.
And what kind of like, is it just also, sorry, like hip hop and music stuff, or like, do you want to do more socially conscious stuff? Because I remember when we first connected, we were talking about like,
definitely
all
not
different
just
kind of stuff. So what would you
all
want to
different
do?
kind of stuff. Yeah,
Okay.
all different kind of stuff. So it could be it's like I've got a project coming up in October, which is about like a story over here in Canada of like the basketball teams, the basketball teams back in the day, and how they didn't hire many black coaches and things like that. So kind of like race kind of stuff I'm kind of into, just getting to the bottom of certain you know, certain things in society that still exist, certain things that still go on, you know. So yeah, kind of just any type of documentary stuff I'm interested in, you know. All types of stuff, mainly like socially kind of social content is great for me, you know. Yeah.
That's good, because I mean, I was dabbling, like when we first connected, I was dabbling in so many different kind of content, because I had so many ideas and stuff that I wanted to like really do. So I was exploring the identity of being mixed race, because I was really fascinated by that. I was really wanting to, because when you talk about racism and colorism, you do hear a lot of the dark skin side, but there's also a struggle with mixed race people as well, because of the identity struggle. Sometimes they don't know what side to pick, you know, they feel pressure. So I wanted to explore that for different cultures, and I did the one about natural hair, and did a whole series on like the perception of black beauty and women in the society pressures they face, you know, as black people. And yeah, that was me really kind of just exploring so many different stuff, and I'm kind of getting back into that. I'm actually producing a documentary about the Black Panther movement in the UK. Didn't even know that existed until
I did back in the days. Yeah, if you see some certain films back in the day in like the 70s, you can see, and my mom tells me about that as well. That used to exist back in the days, all over, to be honest. Obviously heavily in London, but it trickled down into like Birmingham and like Nottingham as well. It's crazy.
And now
so
that's something
that's something interesting.
Exactly.
Those type of things. That type of things, like something where kind of you can look deeper into something that existed that you didn't know. Like that's the type of thing that gets me really the ball rolling for me, you know. So
I definitely
Yeah.
agree because like I really feel like I really want to speak more on like the Black British history because we
Mm.
tend to, as Black people, the diaspora focuses a lot on African American history.
African
And so it's
American stuff.
like I understand the history and it's powerful, just like every Black history as a whole, but it's like we can't forget all of the pioneers
Yeah,
who helped
especially
us
yeah.
in our own different countries, like the one you're doing in Toronto. Yeah, we need to hear more about
Mm-hmm.
Canadian Black history because they
Yeah,
face the same
exactly,
issues. Like
exactly.
everyone needs to hear this stuff. And like other countries just like to sweep it under the rug, like none of this stuff happened.
Yeah,
And like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so
You need to kind of bridge the diaspora. You know what I'm saying? Because like,
yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that not a lot of stories over here that I never knew. You know what I mean? In Canada, there's a lot of race. There's a lot of there was a lot of obviously racism here, and even slavery up in like Nova Scotia. A lot of the slaves traveled from America to there. You know, so there's a big slave history up there. A lot of Jamaicans here in Toronto as well with their own stories and stuff. So yeah, man, there's a lot of yeah. Instead of just focusing on the generic kind of African American stuff, there's all these stories all over the world, man,
Exactly.
even throughout Europe as well. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Exactly. So yeah, so
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean that'd be good. I'll be looking forward to
yeah.
see what you guys come up with. I mean, your skills are
Mm.
dope. So I mean we tried to,
Yeah,
I've always wanted to work with you, but then you just had to like go to Nottingham, I mean Toronto. So it was just like
yeah. I tried to link you that time in London,
yes.
but it was literally just before the pandemic, and I saw how it was playing out, and I was like,
Yeah.
I need to leave now,
Yeah.
so I didn't end up
Um,
staying. So
but it's cool. It's cool. It's funny because
yeah,
like I was supposed to come to Toronto actually last year because my friend she was a producer on this feature film and it was supposed to premiere at the Toronto International Film
yeah,
Festival and
yeah,
I was going
yeah.
to be her plus one. So I was like, okay, cool. I can hit up Jason and be like, yo, I'm
Yeah,
in your city. And
sure,
then
sure.
pandemic
Because of
just
the
changed.
pandemic thing,
Yeah, it
that's
just changed all my plans.
right,
So
bro.
yeah, so that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So like, so with Real Go Getters, I know you started to like develop that more into a brand. I bought some of your t-shirts. I mean,
Oh
great
yeah.
quality. I'm
Thank
not
you,
just
man.
saying
Thank you.
that.
Thank you for the support, man.
Yeah, I
Appreciate
wear that all the time. So like,
it.
what's your kind of like plans for the brand that Real Go Getters moving
Mm.
on just from like the YouTube channel? Are you gonna make it into a full-fledged production company? Like, what's your
Mm.
plans and stuff?
Yeah, that would be great. That'd be a great that'd be great to do that, you know. But I'd love to yeah, to start producing more kind of because right now I'm doing sort of documentary stuff, but
Mhm.
I want to get into like more original stuff. So yeah, maybe taking it to the next level where it's a full on production company, like you kind of like you kind of Vice style stuff,
Okay.
type of just constant type, but just telling stories, telling stories on a regular basis, but more or less maybe hire some people as well. So it's not just obviously I do work with other editors too here and there and like voiceover artists and stuff like that, but that's mainly on kind of like a contractual basis, like I bring them in here and there.
Yeah, of
But
course.
yeah, eventually I just want to kind of yeah, have a full be good to have a full team just on demand straight away around me, and yeah, just I'd love to just be able to just build like like a full on platform with consistent original documentaries and things like that.
No, that's really good. That's really good. I
Yeah,
mean, it makes sense to
yeah.
do something like that because with the following you've built as well, and because of
Mm,
your track record as well, with the quality of stuff you've been putting out there, it
yeah,
makes sense to do that. And I think I don't feel like you wouldn't get there with the
yeah, yeah,
quality
yeah.
you put out there. And it's
Take,
just
just
about
take time and funding and things like that.
exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
and funding
Just
is hell. So,
yeah,
I mean, yeah, I hear you. I'm only now in with my production company. I'm only now in a position where I'm able to spread my wings and like
yeah.
because I'm a producer or exec producer as well. So it's like I'm able to either people come to me with stuff now and then I exec produce it and then it's co-production with my company or I have my own stuff I've been developing like from Nate and Jamie all the way to like where I'm at
Mhm.
now in like building that universe of like
Yeah,
shows and platforms and then
mhm.
going back. But now I'm able to like, okay, have a director, have my DOP, have my editor, have a
Mhm.
producer come on board, production manager. It's spread out because doing it all yourself is too much anyway.
Yeah,
But when you're in the early stages, you've really got to know everything and then be able to build like that and then decide with you as a brand and company where you want to take it next. And that's what's
yeah,
it's good to see because I can already see like you've already had that plan for ages and now you just kind of move forward with it. No, so I'm looking forward to seeing where it happens next, because it could be a Vice, it could be like a BuzzFeed. Like all you need
Yeah,
is that money, the
yeah,
investors.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
the thing. Like it's
yeah.
taking on, especially us as like the black community does need like a, let's say, a black version of BuzzFeed or whatever. What really kind of
Yeah,
tackles our subject matters, our culture, in terms of like, especially we're both Jamaican heritage, so like Jamaican or Caribbean culture and all African culture, and mix how we mix it in with the westernized culture we're in, and then talking about hip hop and stuff, or whatever you
yeah,
want to tell, you can be
yeah.
able to do that. And there's not enough of that. You've got other platforms telling our stories through someone else to like educate an audience. And sometimes
Yeah,
it's like, I don't want to educate non-black people on our culture. I'd rather us just tell our stories and people find it relatable, if that makes sense. So,
100%. Yeah, definitely.
yeah, so that's really good. That's really good. So like, so what brought you to Toronto? Like, okay, so you were in Nottingham. What made you want to like, okay, pack up and leave and like
Yeah.
go there?
So it was mad, it's crazy. Like it's like a long story, but like a interesting one. Cause like one time I actually came to London to like watch a show.
Mhm.
Like I'm just talking about like this is when I was in university. I think I came to London to watch the show. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I came to like Soho, and
Okay.
obviously Nottingham's not like a big. It's not like a big city or like a cosmopolitan city really. It's getting there, but it's never really been that. Especially like back in like 2014 or whatever, 13.
Uh-huh.
So I remember coming to London and like just feeling the vibe there and being like, yo, this would be dope after university to come to somewhere like this, where it's popping. There's loads of media things going off. And I was watching the show thinking, oh, these people are getting paid to do the lighting over there, and someone over there doing the video, and she's performing over there, and they're, living that kind of city life. And
Yeah.
I just thought that was really like dope, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, yo, I'd love to come to a place like London, But basically, like I was either going to go to Dubai or London. But then basically, like I was just literally scrolling online one day and I saw like an ad to like move to Canada to work for like a year. And yeah, it's weird. Like I ended up like looking into it and stuff, and it just ticked loads of boxes for me. Like because I wanted to kind of like, deep down, I wanted to go abroad as well. Like I didn't want to
Yeah.
stay in the UK. I just kind of, you just have enough of kind of your home
Yeah.
country. You just want
Mhm.
like a whole different culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I ended up seeing that like this literally like an ad for Toronto. Looked into it, like researched Toronto, and obviously I knew of Toronto from like Drake mainly.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna lie, like at the time it was only like Drake. I kind of heard through the grapevine, like I knew kind of there was a lot of like hip hop culture here as well, and like Jamaican culture too. Like I kind of and also most importantly, there was like a whole media scene here. There's a whole film industry here, So you've got, they call it the Hollywood North. It's like the
Yeah.
Canada's version of Hollywood. Like they film a lot of
Yeah.
Hollywood films in
Yeah, they do.
they film a lot of Hollywood films in
Mhm.
Toronto to make it look like New York, obviously,
Mhm.
because it's cheaper as well to film here. So yeah, and there was that there as well. So I was just like, yo, you know what, this looks like a great opportunity. You know what I mean? To go over there and just see what it's saying. I didn't know anyone in Canada, Toronto. I just said, you know what, I'm just going to take the leap. Came here on my one, and that was it, man. And I just kind of had to go from there. It's crazy. Like, I didn't have no contacts here. I remember like my first week here, I just ended up being on set of Pixels, the movie
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was made back in the day. I was on set of that. And just like loads of just different opportunities were coming my way, you know what I'm saying? I worked at like a TV studio called Rogers TV, um, doing like live shows, like live shows of like, the college sports and stuff like that. So I was like a camera operator on like a live TV show type thing. So that was really cool. You know what I'm saying? Like these are opportunities that I wouldn't necessarily, especially at the time, I wouldn't have found them in Nottingham. You know what I mean? So it was like I had to kind of like basically I took a leap basically, and like came to a place where there was more opportunities for what I wanted to get into. So yeah, man. Yeah, but like initially it was just like I kind of came here on a whim and kind of just like thought, yo, it looks like a great place to be for like film, media, TV for young people as well, especially because I was like 21 at the time when I first came here. So yeah, man, it just ticked loads of boxes, and luckily it ended up working out, man. And yeah, bro. So yeah, it's crazy. But I initially wanted to. I initially was thinking about London, but I didn't. I just didn't end up doing it. But eventually I do want to come back and make a little, you know, a little network there as well. I've already got obviously people like yourself, and like I've got cousins there and stuff. That's it. I've got a cousin in music, Infamous Isaac. I don't know if you've probably heard of him, but check him out, man. He's making moves over there, but yeah.
That's nice. That's really good to hear. I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that you was able to go there for like a week and then get on set and start working and stuff like that, that's great. Because even in London, like this, you know, I get your whole point of like getting out of the UK, because you know the UK industry, I mean, it's got a lot better because of, you know, Black Lives Matter last year being at the height of where it was, and you know, so there are a lot more schemes and stuff, but at the same time it's still very hard for you to break in, especially as a person of color. So yeah, for you to get that quickly was,
and at the time as well, I'm not gonna lie, like around 2013, 2014, like I think I did look over there, see what was good, but it just didn't seem like anything was really like, you know, I just thought, you know what, why don't I just like attack this another way? And I kind of just went outside the box really and said, yo, come to Toronto, see what's good, you know. And yeah, bro, it was, I'm glad I made the move, not just on like a career level either, but just on like a kind of just experience and adventure level, you know what I'm saying? I've met some great people out here, I've done some great stuff, you know. I've filmed at some great places like with NBA players. You obviously probably don't know because it's the UK, but yeah, there's a lot big obviously NBA scene out here, basketball, sports scene. I filmed at I don't know if you remember the Floyd Mayweather McGregor.
Oh yeah, I remember you seeing you there, yeah.
Yeah, they came over here and did a press conference. I was there behind the scenes with like Mayweather, stuff like that. So, you know what I mean? Opportunities I wouldn't have got staying in Notts, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not that there's nothing going on in Notts, because it's obviously a progressive city now, but just like I needed to get out of the small city, you know what I mean? I needed something bigger, something like where I can see stuff, skyscrapers and all this madness, because yeah, so it's definitely it's a beautiful city, man, Toronto, like to look at, especially like aesthetically, it's great, man. So yeah, just but yeah, that's kind of what brought me here, just curiosity really, but it ended up like spiraling into this whole thing. And yeah, it's great, man, it's great. And then obviously at the same time, Real Go Getters building as well. So Real Go Getters is like a more global thing. Like I got people from everywhere on there, like everywhere, Australia, America, UK, Jamaica, you get me? So yeah.
No, that's really good, because like you said, it is dubbed the like Hollywood North and stuff like that as well. And I've heard that because they shoot so much stuff in Canada, like so much stuff out there. So yeah, because it's cheaper, and a lot of them go to either Atlanta as well, like it's cheaper to film there. So
I was sorry, one day I was walking, I don't know if you watch Breaking Bad. So I don't watch it, but like I know there's like one black guy on there. What's his name? Is it Gus or something like that?
Probably, because I don't know. I've watched episodes, but I know what you mean.
yeah. But like randomly, I like ended up bumping into him, and then there was like enough people. I just thought he was a regular guy, but enough people are like taking pictures of him. But he was just walking around casual. So yeah, there's definitely that whole Hollywood vibe out here. 100%. Especially when TIFF comes around, it's crazy, bro. They're everywhere, like celebs and shit. If that's sorry for the language, sorry, you can cut that out. But if that's what you're into, you know.
Yeah. I get what you mean. Yeah. So I mean, it was a good decision, and I get it, because especially during that time you went, like, you know, the first time around 2013 and 14, it was like there was schemes starting, like there was one scheme, like diversity schemes, or trying to, because there was loads of reports coming out about how bad, you know, diversity was within the industry. So they started to come up with this stuff then. So it was still quite hard. The way how I got in was like doing loads of work experience. I would like be on my computer, for example, like all day, just sending out mass emails to like their generic emails. I'm looking for work experience. I was fresh out of uni, or I was still in uni doing that. And then I started to get work experience like that. Come on, and then talking to people, becoming cool with like office managers or production managers, and say, oh, if you need anyone to cover. And that's how I started to get runner work, and then I was able to get a job. But then even when you get into it and stuff, it's like I said, like, you know, you got guys who are so far, the white guys up there who are like 50, 60, whatever, and they're like the top execs. And it's like, I don't want to be then 60 and being where I want to be, when I was literally seeing directors or young black guys who were like directors, maybe like 5-6 years older than me, coming in and having meetings because they're going to direct this, or they're pitching to speak with them on that because they did it independently. And that's the way you hustle and grind. And I feel like there's so many ways you want to do it. If you want to make it to a certain level, you got to take that risk and do it yourself and build it yourself, build up your own, not just following, but build up your own reputation so people know you and build like your career like that. And that's what you've done, and it's worked.
Yeah,
So I mean,
yeah,
people
yeah,
listening, that's what I want them to kind of grasp in
yeah,
terms of like you have to do it yourself and take those big leaps and
yeah.
risks
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah. You don't have to follow the kind of status quo. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like of like,
exactly.
you don't always have to work your way up for like 10 plus years. You can kind of just, yeah, attack it a different way, man. If you
Yeah,
want, don't feel a type of way for just going against the grain. You know what I'm saying? Because
exactly.
if I would have stayed in knots at that video job, obviously
Mhm.
it wouldn't have took me to any. I don't feel like it would have took me to any great heights, and it wouldn't have fulfilled what I feel like my purpose is. Do you know what I'm saying? I would have just been editing like videos for different companies, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, is that what you want to? You know, you're only going to go to a certain level, but if you grow independently, there's all types of things you can,
Yeah.
become involved with, and yeah, you can kind of just move from there.
Yeah, no one's saying quit your 9 to 5 and then just start
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. No, no,
no,
no,
like still keep your job, but like
definitely
start
not.
to do
Yeah,
something on the side and then
yeah, yeah,
work your way up, build, learn from your mistakes as well. Like you're
yeah,
gonna have
yeah.
hit or misses. Don't be so like down on yourself if you don't have the equipment or team. You got to just start putting content out
Oh,
there as long as it's
oh, yeah.
content and people enjoy it, and then you
Yeah.
can build because no one,
Mhm.
everyone knows you don't have the money and the budget, but they
Yeah,
want to see you get better, and then that's how you work up, and that's
yeah,
what you've done, I've done, and so it's continued like that.
yeah,
So
man.
yeah, so that's really cool. What is, I mean, it's been great, like honestly, hearing your journey. I would ask you
Thank you,
what's
man.
next, but I feel like, listen, you've got so much going on, and it's great to see like
Yeah,
what's going on. So like, where
yeah,
can people
definitely.
find?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, definitely. I want to get into more documentaries next. That's definitely what you're
Yeah,
gonna see from me, whether it's short documentaries.
yeah,
Definitely eventually want to get onto doing some feature stuff as well. But obviously the YouTube's gonna be running the same way. I'm trying my best to just be as consistent as I can.
yeah.
But yeah, to find me, it's YouTube Real Go Getters. That's REEL Go Dash Getters, GETTERS, and Instagram Real dot Go Getters. And yeah, you can find me from there, man. Connect, and yeah, definitely, bro. Definitely always open to building my network as well. So 100%, and we'll definitely have to link up once I come back to London, man.
Yeah, hit me
Yeah,
up, or if I'm in Canada first, I'll hit you
yeah,
up.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Of course, man. Of course. That's
definitely,
always
definitely.
open, bro. I'm always open to that. So just link me, bro.
Nice, nice. Well, thanks
Yeah,
again for coming on. It's been good to connect finally after 5 years
yeah.
and
Thank
hearing
you,
your
man.
journey. And
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
man. So, as thanks again, guys, for listening. Honestly, you can find me all on my usual socials, Kashif Booth or Kashif Booth Entertainment or the Kashif Booth podcast. And stay tuned for new episodes coming soon.